Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of VPN Chat. It is Carlton. I'm so excited about this next guest. She is just a delight to be around and a joy to work with. I remember the very first day I met her, and she was just so pleasant, and it was just again, she has such an amazing spirit, and so I want you guys to get to know her a little bit more. So let's welcome Miss Audrey Suggs. How you doing today, Miss Audrey?
Doing well, doing well. Can't complain.
Awesome. Um, Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to talk with me. I definitely appreciate it. So I want to get started with you first. What inspired your love for acting? Because you are originally you were a theater actress.
Yes,
That's how
yes.
that's you when we first met. That's what you told me. So what inspired your love for acting?
I know a lot of folks don't believe it now, but I was really painfully shy. And the only time that I get to act the way I think others would like to be around is to take on a different persona. And theater gave me that chance to do that. I had a director who told me that until I could act as Edna, I was going to be Esther, and I had to prove to him that I could act. And ever since then, I've been doing it. Whatever character somebody tells me, I try to put on that person, and that's what got me started out. Stage was it.
Got you, got you. Yes, so I was saying when we first met, when you first auditioned for your role in Sweet Mahogany, I remember you saying that you were a theater actress and this is your first time actually doing something on camera. Talk about your experience, your first, because I said you Sweet Mahogany was your first time acting on camera. Talk about that transitioning from doing theater and now you're doing acting in front of a camera.
Um, I was really scared because on stage, we get that immediate feedback. There is no, you get a chance to redo anything, whatever you're doing, you got to make it work. Well, I was afraid that if I made a mistake, I was messing up too much film time. I was real nervous about it, but you guys made me feel really pretty comfortable. And then I became more relaxed with the fact that it's okay if you make a mistake. They're going to redo it anyway. They're going to refilm, take different takes. And so I began to relax. And I thought maybe I would like film. And I did. I like film a lot.
I think, like I said, I think because I actually started out with production. I actually started out with theater. Actually doing my own productions. I started out with theater. I do have training. I did audio video production. I was in school, but like actually when I first started video productions, I started in theater. So I definitely understand. Like even when I was started doing web series and I tell the story a lot. Like I literally would just set the camera up, even though I knew like you needed to do angles or whatever. I still was like theater minded, still thinking. I would set the camera up and just let actors just as if we were on stage. Like let's let them play it out on like how like on stage. Like it was just if somebody messed up, we would do the
Mhm.
whole scene over.
Yeah.
And so and you can imagine how time consuming that would be, obviously. So yeah, when I started doing the Lions Den, and then from henceforth over, I actually utilized, of course, more of a television style or film style of shooting, as far
Right.
as like the different angles and the different things like that. So I can understand that as far as like you're in your mind, as far as like, okay, yeah, I don't want to keep messing up because I don't want to take up too much time. But like you said, that's the beauty of doing film and television or web series or whatever. Again, you mess up, it's okay. Just keep going. You utilize the different angles, the editing. That's where editing comes in. Um, but I will say now that also separates the good actors from the
Yeah.
mediocre actors, because
Right.
a lot of times, like a lot of times it's the editing that is making an actor. If that
Right.
makes any sense.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because like I said, and I say that to say you shouldn't use editing as a crutch.
Yeah.
You shouldn't depend on the edit. Say, okay, well they're gonna just edit it and then make it look good. No, you should still come in
With your
knowing
skills.
your lines, being prepared. Like you should still come in with your A game as an actor. Um,
Right.
And I think also too, I want, and you can speak on this, again, because you're coming from the world of theater. Theater, I hear a lot of people say that theater is actually like really where you the nitty gritty of acting. Like you when you doing theater, like that's really a lot of you see a lot of movie actors saying how they really got their acting chops through theater. Like you see Denzel saying he does theater, like Denzel Washington, like different people like that. Viola Davis, like they talk about theater. So can you speak on that as far as like just like talk about just the nitty grittiness of theater acting?
I'm with an acting stage group here called Angel Lyric Productions, and our motto is bring truth to the stage. That's what I like about it. If it calls for a character to have some strong emotion, whether it's crying, whether it's anger, whether it's excitement, you got to bring that truth to the stage. No amount of editing on the stage is going to work because you're right there in front of the audience. The audience wants to see what it is that they're supposed to see, and they'll let you know if it is not right. They won't laugh when it's supposed to laugh. They won't cry when it's time for you to make them cry. But on the film, you can go back. You can make the little editing chops. You can go ahead back in and add some little tricks to get what you need to get done. But on stage, it's just you and that audience and those actors, and you got to come with the whole come on. And
Hmm.
so it matured me. I mean, I got used to crying on stage when I needed to. Personalities, that's the excitement to me. You've got to be able to make sure these characters are credible on stage. You don't get a couple of chances to come back and do it all over again. You got to do it live right there. You might do it the next night a different way. You get the feeling from your audience. Your audience is what pumps you up or brings it down. You move with the vibration from the audience, and I like that. I like that immediate feedback. Um, that's always been great, and that's what honed a lot of my love. I still love my stage, but I found that there's a lot of things that I can do with the filming too now, and I'm excited about that. It's been going pretty good.
I think it's been going very good for you.
Yeah,
You, you
appreciate you. You gave me my first filming. I appreciate you more than you know.
well, I definitely appreciate you. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with Sweet Mahogany, of course. Start off as a web series, then we ended up moving on into the film world. This is actually the first film that not the first film I shot, but the first that's the first technical VPN film because again, Sweet Mahogany,
Mhm.
um, Maverick, they saw it at the web series. They said, "Hey, we want to turn it into a film," and we moved on from there. So, talk about your time playing your character on Sweet Mahogany. You are Mahogany and Melody's mother.
Mhm.
So talk about your take on the character.
Um, when I first got it, I was unsure of really how they said you said she was like the sanctimonious mother, uh, um, deep and holy, and I was trying to play that, but without trying to be too incredible. Then I started thinking about some of the ladies that I knew in church that I don't want to talk negatively about anybody, but they had the aura of in the front of the church they're looking holy, but to know them is to know them. And
Hmm.
so take on that characteristic on it. Um, she still had that little sister girl, that mama attitude, when you as time went on, uh, stay maybe with the second Sweet Mahogany. But in the first one, that character reminded me of a few of the ladies that I knew in church. And so I just tried to emulate some of the things that I saw with them.
Do you think the character name is Valentina? I had to look it up. I literally was like, what is her name? I could not remember what the name was. Do you think Valencia is judgmental?
Yes. But I also think she's uh, um, blind, blind to a lot of things. You want to see what you want to see. Maybe because of in her past, she's gone through a lot of hurt, And so she's very blind to what's actually going on. She sees what she wants to see, the way she wants to see it, and she's completely ignoring how she's really negatively affecting those daughters. Even
Mm,
though she's being the best mom, I'm doing what outside looks like is the right thing, but on the inside, mm, no, no. And for those who've seen the movie, they would know that yeah, that's not a really good mother. She thinks she's good, but you don't even know what's going on between your daughters, and you guys were, all together. All the
mm,
things has happened to your daughters, and you didn't realize that. Couldn't have gone without realizing it. You just ignored it for whatever reason. Maybe she felt like she wanted to keep that man, and we see that a lot of times. A lot of women, um, they'll pretend they don't see certain things because they want to keep things a certain way.
mm. Do you I think it's obvious that she has a favorite, but do you think that Valencia has a favorite? Like
Yes,
this, do you think she plays favorites with her daughters?
yes. I think she loves that older daughter better. Mahogany is her baby. For whatever reason, Mahogany is her baby. Um, that was foreign for me because I have three daughters, and um, there might be times when I'm closer with one than the other based on whatever's going on, but never a favorite, never a favorite. And she was quite obvious to me, favoriting she was favoriting Mahogany, maybe because Melody spoke her mind, or maybe she saw more things that related to her through Melody, and she didn't like her. I mean, I won't say she didn't like her. She didn't like her more than she liked Mahogany.
So I,
Mahogany,
so the way that you're describing it, I would say I think, and I like your description. I would say that Valencia, I think she obviously sees more of herself in Melody, and they clash.
right?
That's why they're clashing because she basically Melody is Valencia's mirror.
Yes, yes, and running into the same mistakes that maybe Valencia made in her past to get to where she is now.
Hmm.
Because like you can see with Melody, she's trying to she's like whenever she steps out, it runs into something across Mahogany or Mahogany double crosses her. Everybody seems to double cross her, so she speaks her mind, and her mom maybe sees herself in that, making those mistakes that brought her to the point that she is now. And that's what I just thought maybe that those two were too much alike. And even with all of that, Melody still tried to, stay close with mom, try to talk to mom, but mom was her focus was more on Mahogany.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Well, I will say I am looking forward to, and we'll get this will be the last thing we talk about, but I'm looking forward to everyone seeing the third installment, so that way people can see how all of this ends and how all of this plays out. And your character, yeah, we'll get into it when we get to the end. I want to jump to you made a guest appearance on the final season of Lover's Lane. You played Bridget's mom, Natalie Adams. I mean, I think I know the answer, but you watched Lover's Lane before you were on it, right?
Yes, I did a went right through the whole all the series. I mean, all the seasons to get up there.
So did you? So okay, because I think, and I don't know if Felicia, I don't know if me and Felicia had this conversation or not. But did you, when you watched it, did you think that Bridget's mom was still alive, or did you think that she was dead, or like what did you think? Where did you think Bridget? Because we saw Bridget's dad, obviously, but did you? We didn't see the mom until the last season. So when you watched it as a viewer, like where did you think Bridget's mom was?
I thought maybe she had died, and just wasn't. You talk about her and all of that, but I thought maybe she had died. That maybe I don't know if the husband killed her. That was the thing. Did he have something to do with maybe her disappearing? Um, but it was good to see that. Oh, she is here. She's a little crazy, but she's here. She's still
Yeah, I
here.
think, and I wouldn't even say. necessarily say crazy. I think she definitely was you could see that she's dealing with trauma. She's been mentally abused, obviously, and
Yeah.
emotionally abused, and you could tell because she's mute. When we see her, she's mute. She doesn't say anything, and then when grabs Bridget and says that one thing, it's
Mm-hmm.
like shock because again she's been silent this whole time. Talk about that scene because that was a very powerful scene between you and Felicia. She's talking. Bridget's talking to you as her mom, and again, mute, just sitting there. But then when she says that one thing, it's just like it startles Bridget.
I'm sorry that Daddy did this to you. You didn't deserve this. Well, I need to get going, all right? I've got some stuff I need to take care of. And if I don't get back, that incompetent assistant of mine is going to find a way to burn break free.
So talk about that scene when you did that.
In the beginning, well, Felicia is an awesome actress. You can't help but feed off of what she brings to the table. Um, she brought me on into it, and I could easily feed off of her. Um, I felt like I was going to cry because it did bring up some other things. I've been in education for 30 something years, and I've seen some things with parents in the background, some issues that they've had with the children, and I just put my mindset in that um, to try to not like you said, not play crazy, but that pain,
Mm-hmm.
the pain that she had to have gone through, and just enough to go mute all this time, and then to only speak what she needed to speak to Bridget, and then go right back into her mute state. She said what she needed to say, told her to get away. She's got to let go, and went back into her mute mind, back to rocking.
Mm-hmm. I just really love that scene because again, with Bridget, Bridget was such a complicated character. She has so many layers and so many things, and
Mm-hmm.
um we already saw how she was with her father, obviously terrified, fear, all that stuff. Um, but to see how vulnerable Bridget was with you as her mom, it was beautiful to see that side and see that different side of Bridget.
Yeah,
So I think your character as her mother, like I said, brought out. Like I said, again, it's always about peeling those layers like an onion. It's always about doing that. You spoke
mm-hmm.
about being in education. I want to ask you this real quick. How is it for you balancing being? Can you say you educated? You said 30 plus years.
30. This is my 33rd year.
Come on, that's for congratulations on that. That's beautiful. Molding young minds. I think that's everything for sure. I'm sure, and I know your students appreciate you because we appreciate you here as actors on the set. So I know your students definitely appreciate you and what you're pouring into them. How is it balancing being an educator and being an actress?
I'm in a state of a position where I can do that. I have administrators who are pushing for me to do that. They've stood behind me if I have to take time off, and it's usually when we have something to do, it's where I don't have to miss any work. Um, I think the longest time I had was during the uh, COVID period when we were filming in Augusta, and we were out a week. I had classes online that I had to teach online, but we were on break by that time. Then when it was time for me to start another class, back to the class, no problem.
Mm,
Um, but I've been blessed to have some real supportive people behind me. Um, they understand what I'm trying to do, and I'm in the process of retiring again. And so they've supported me. They have me come back out, have me speak to the students. There are students who are interested in doing what I do, and so I talk with them, and hopefully it'll get even better. It'll get even more. I have been called out more often, and right now I do subbing, so I'm not in the classroom full time anymore. That allows me to be able to go when I need to go or when I want to go. and I like that. So it has worked well for me. Now, some people say no, I couldn't do it, but I enjoy what I do. If it's a love that you have, you'll make a way to find a way to make it happen.
How do your students react when they see you? As right, I mean, I'm sure they've seen some of your, some of the things that you've been a part of. How do your students react when they see you like in person after seeing you, like some of your? Well, I hope some movies they're not watching. I just want to put that out there. I hope the parents are guiding and the parental advisory. I hope they're advising and not allowing their kids to watch certain things. But the movies that they are allowed to watch, how do your students react when they see you
Well,
afterwards?
even when it's movies that they shouldn't watch, the first thing students do, if y'all didn't notice, the first thing they do is they Google their teacher.
Mm.
I don't care what it is, if it's a teacher they like or don't like, they're going to Google that teacher. So students came up to me and they were like, Miss Suggs, do you act? I was like, a fool? Yes, I act a fool. I try to, play it off, and they were like, well, we were watching, my mom was watching Tubi and she saw you. And I told her that you're not an actress, but then I saw that it was you. Um, that's always funny to me. I tell them, they'll say, well, what are all your movies? What are all the movies you're in? I tell them I can't. Some things I can't show you. My high schoolers even they're like, well, I can see it. Well, some of them got 3 or 4 kids, so I guess it wouldn't hurt them. But they go to the IMDb page and they look, and if it's something they can see, they'll go and watch it. They give me the cover. Matter of fact, they're on my case about Mahogany Part 3. There's a few other movies that about when are we gonna see the next part? It's coming. It's coming. Right now, I'm in the Kwanzaa. Um,
Mm.
I've been sharing that one with them, and a lot of parents like that because they said it's a wholesome, family oriented, and it's somebody that they know, and that makes them feel like you know they're brushing our elbows with somebody famous. I said, no, not famous, but comfortable. I enjoy what I do. So, and they're interested in doing it. So I do have some students that are very interested in. I tell them, unless you can prove to me that you're serious, I'm not going to put your name out there and make me look bad.
Mm.
So, yeah,
Well,
but they do enjoy it. They definitely tell their friends. Well, my teacher is, and that's my middle schoolers or my elementary students. My
mm.
teacher. But my high schoolers, they're like, oh, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I get a little cred every now and again. I like
Oh, that's just kids for you. It's fun. It's funny because again, like I'm Kyler is getting older now, so it's just like it's certain things I'll say. He'd be like, okay, so it's not even just high school. Like it's just I just feel like it's just is especially now like kids now like 8, 9, 7 it's
that. Yeah,
even my little niece Kimberly, she's 4 and she's just like, oh, okay. Yeah,
that's it.
um so one more show. You were on Peace Be Still, I mean too, but that was just like a brief thing. But you were on My Life and you played Kevin's mother. You played
Yeah.
Cassandra Mitchell.
Mhm.
And My Life, for people who haven't don't know, My Life is about a guy who's dealing with his sexual identity, not sexual identity, sexual orientation. As far as like he's married, but he also
Mhm.
has feelings for men. And like I said,
Mhm.
you played his mother.
Yeah.
And what was it like for you shooting that scene? Because we didn't really have the opportunity to really delve into like the real family dynamic of them finding out or different things like that. Y'all were just on that one episode, but I still feel like there was obviously still tension, obviously between the dad and Kevin, right? And you were there as the mom. You're trying to like keep everything copacetic. Talk about that scene, like being a part of that scene. Playing because you and Ron know each other. Y'all were y'all were kicking it up and everything. So before we started taping, but talk
Mhm.
about that playing that role and being a part of that scene and knowing what the show is about. Talk about your role in that.
Well, as a mother, oftentimes the mother is the softer of the two. The father, especially with the father being a preacher, he's playing the role of a preacher, and in his mind, I imagine that he thinks this looks bad on him because he's the preacher. You know, my son can't be gay, or he's married, he's got a kid. Uh, how is he gay? And the mom is like, still trying to be that peace in the middle, to keep the peace. I love my son. Um, he may not have been brought up, in a household where that homosexuality is approved of, but that's still my son. And I can imagine in most cases, um, a mother is like that with her child, especially her son. You know, um, you want to love your child, and you don't want that child to feel slighted or unloved or uh, feel lowered, have less self-esteem. And so I saw her as that go-between. She just wanted to keep the peace. Maybe again, that outside image. I don't want folks to think we are a bad family. I want everybody to be, I'm the pastor's wife. I want us to be, you know, uh, the ideal family. And you can't do that if my husband is mad at my son for whatever reason, and I saw her as a character that wanted to keep the peace
Hmm.
between the two.
Yeah, yeah. I wish we did have the opportunity to really kind of dive more into it. We
Mm,
definitely would have saw the parents more for sure. Um, because I feel like because even in that setting, Kevin has all this inside. Like he's all this is inside. Like he hasn't revealed to his wife what's going on. He hasn't revealed to his parents what's going on. I mean, they might know, most times parents know what's going on with their kids, even if their kids don't say anything. It's just that the instinct that you guys have as parents.
mm-hmm.
But just again, with just in that one setting, it just the whole simple thing of them not coming to church and the
Right,
dad being upset that they just didn't come to church. It wasn't even the whole issue of what he's dealing with internally. It was just the fact that I didn't come to church today.
right.
And
And
so,
had
yeah, go ahead.
I know, and hadn't been coming, and so uh, Dad is already building up in his mind what he wants, and the judgmental finger being pointed, and the son just seemed like the character of the son seemed like, how do I stand up to my dad? At some point, I got to stand up to him. I
Hmm.
can't. I haven't even stood up and told my wife, what all is going on, with me at the time that from the scene that I was in. She
Right.
had found out, but mom, that's my son. I don't care what's going on. And like you said, you may have already picked up on certain things. You know your child. A lot of times you don't act on it, or but you sort of pick up on things from your child. Um, but I just saw her as a mother who cared, but didn't want that negativity between the father and the son. And she knew that the father was coming down hard, and she was just trying to keep the peace. She even told him, this is not the time. This is not the time. Not right now. Come
Hmm.
on. He wasn't trying to hear that either.
All right, so let's get into now. We're going to get into these films that was actually shot as films, not a web series turned into films. Um, so now we're going to talk about Redemption for Easter, which actually is one of my favorite projects.
Yeah.
Um, I I talk about this often. That making that movie was such a joy and such a treat to me. Like it was just an opportunity to tell this story about this real well, not real, they weren't real family, but this family
Mhm.
with real issues and just real and really showing them coming together as a family. Um and dealing with it together as a family, even though they, like I said, they love each other, but it's still like, okay,
Mhm.
we gotta dig. and we got to really do the work to make sure that really we really be the family that we say we're going to be. And you saw that in this movie. This was we'll get into it shortly, but if I want to talk, I want you to talk about when you first got the script, what your thoughts were for Redemption for Easter.
Um, I read it as a excuse me, I read it as a come to Jesus type meeting. A family that is taking advantage of the fact that family is always there. The
Mm,
mom is always there. You know, this is the routine. You know, they just got comfortable with everything being always there. Dad was preaching, mom was cooking. When it's time for the family to get together, we have the family get-togethers. But after the kids have all grown up, everybody's doing their own thing, going through their own issues, uh, and family just ran as family did. Just got comfortable with everything being the way that it had always been, never taking into account that something like that might happen.
yeah,
What have happened when one of the parents is gone? You know, how does that help the family? I mean, how does that hurt the family? You know, especially a family that, I mean, the way it all happened on the day dad, it seemed like that when dad called, nobody was responding. Everybody was doing their own thing, good and
hmm
bad. Uh, how might you feel now after what happened?
yeah. Um, I think I mean, and honestly, it makes you really, like you said, you a lot of times we do take family for granted. Um, and I think this movie really shows you the importance of valuing your loved ones. Because you never know, like, especially like, obviously it's always been like that in life, but I'm just saying, like, like when you become older, you become more aware
Mm-hmm.
of how fragile life is,
Yeah.
and you just don't know when the last time is truly going to be the last time you talk to somebody or see somebody. Um, so I thought that scene. I mean, we're going. I mean, it's this movie is like years old, so I mean, you should have seen it by now. But when the dad dies in the film, I thought it was just even watching it that breaks my heart because, like you said, all the kids were just like, well, I want to say, okay, two, okay, well, the oldest was getting busy.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest son, I mean, he was at work, he was doing his
Oh,
job. So I mean, but I mean, I felt like he could have called his dad back.
yeah.
Um, you got the other two, the youngest, they're all dealing with their own issues that they got going on. So but like you said again, it's just like you saw again, they were so big, they were so caught up and busy in their own lives that they didn't have time to just pick up the phone to talk to their dad, and not knowing that this was going to be the last time that he would be alive, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then like, but your performance in that movie was was stellar, just from top to bottom. I think you saw, for me, I saw every single emotion from anger, um, sadness, um, you kindness, loving. Like it's just every single it was all range of emotions going on. Even like I said, just the scene. First of all, the scene. Okay, when the scene when your husband died, we saw that. The scene when you go off on the kids when they're all arguing. Talk about that as a mom, because I know how aggravated that could be. You as a mom are dealing with your own stuff, and then your kids are kidding. They're doing the kid thing. They just arguing back and forth, and especially I know how hard it could be. Your character just buried her husband,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're in here arguing about silly stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How was that for you doing that part when you went off? Because I know,
Um,
like, my mom watched it. My mom was like, "Yes, go off on them. Get out my house."
I
So
felt
how did
right.
you feel about that?
I don't know what burned up in me to make me feel it so much. I mean, I had lost my father, but I was there before my father passed. but I don't know I think it's just the memory that my dad is not here, and um, we didn't act like that when my dad passed. Uh, I just thought about him, and all I could think about is how are y'all in here arguing and screaming and fussing, and your dad is dead? Y'all didn't even have time for him. Y'all got some nerve, you know. I just thought about my dad. I thought about my dad, and I didn't want to get too deep because it's hard because there was a scene in there when when me and one of the characters uh, we had to wait a while. You remember after me and Chantel
Hmm.
seen, um, she began to cry for real
Hmm.
a while for us to get back because you had to bring it back in. And maybe I should have let it go and go off and let the full fledged emotion happen. But I was nervous
Mm.
um, it would come off. But I did reflect on the fact that my father had been passed. My father's been dead for a while now.
Hmm.
And to think if me and my brothers were to act like that after my dad done passed, I believe my mama would have had something for us, and it wouldn't have been too holy. But she didn't play. She didn't
Hmm.
play. And I was just the hurt. He's gone, and y'all sitting here fussing, and I got to go back into this house alone, especially after I done kicked them all out. I got to go back in here. I'm alone. I'm
Mm.
by, and I've been with all these years. That was my rock, and he's gone. So yeah, just had to pull on some personal experience to get the emotion. I lost my voice just about after that, though.
Mm. Cause we shot that a couple of times. So I know
Yeah,
you had to yell a few times.
yeah, yeah,
Um yeah, I want to get to the Chantel part too. We'll get to that shortly. But there was some comedy a little bit in the film too. We got to see that side of you as well. For those who don't know, Miss Audrey is a very funny person. She definitely likes a joke.
yes, I do.
It's a couple of times I have to tell Miss Audrey, hey, be like, we about to fail.
I do. I have fun. I like
Yeah,
to have
you
fun.
are. You do. You have a lot of fun. I do enjoy that about you. Definitely, being around you. But there's some comedic moments in the film. You do show. So in the film. So this is after the funeral. Obviously, they're getting ready for Easter weekend. Um, your character went on a cruise,
Yes,
and then she just comes back with this whole new man,
yes,
whole new husband,
yes.
young man, young.
Hmm. Yeah.
That scene was hilarious to me, just the way everybody was reacting to all that. Talk about that. I want you to talk about that, your feelings on that.
Well, that was funny to me too because I said as old as I am physically, naturally, my normal self, got this nice looking little young man and how I'm gonna do this? Because I'm very shy. Like I said, I can cut a fool, but now I got to play like I'm intimate with
Mm,
this very young, and he ain't hard on the eyes naturally at all. But how do I do this? And he made it easy for me. I didn't do anything that I felt uncomfortable with. Um, I just thought it was cute and funny. I said, "This is some real Stella got her groove stuff right here. A tape gigs right there, and I'm Stella. Yes, yes." But then when I had read the script and found out what was going to happen, I said, "Oh," the little tears welled up, and I felt um, a more sensitive about the subject. Um, I won't tell what all's going on, but the,
mm,
I was really sensitive about it, to know, and I thought he was not going to be a good guy. That's where
mm. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people who say that it was like, and I mean, I set it up like that on purpose. But even to this day, people be like, "Not something going on with that. What going on with him?" I said, "Guys, it's not. I'm telling. We laid it out. We told you why they did what they did.
yeah,
It was the mama's idea. So it was like we laid it all out for you. They are insistent
Mm-hmm.
Or is it, people are insistent that Kenny shout out to Kenny's character
Mm-hmm.
it's still up to no good. I was like, guys, I'm telling you, he's not. But okay, whatever. Just do whatever you think. Um,
He really
um,
he really
uh,
said it to make people think that, something else is gonna happen. But then when you brought it on out, when you had the characters acknowledge what was going on,
mm.
that oh, okay, okay, okay. Because I was like, oh, is he what?
But I'm telling you, Miss Audrey, even though we laid it out, people are still like to this day, nah,
Mm-hmm.
something going on with him. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, something going on with him. I'm like, guys, I'm telling you, it's not. I promise
Nah.
you. Yeah, so we also again we talked about you mentioned the scene with you and Chantel. Very powerful scene, obviously, for those who haven't seen it yet. There's definitely a trigger warning. The Shalita, she reveals that she had been raped by one of the deacons in the church, and she finally reveals that to the mom. And the mom didn't know, was not aware at all. And they had y'all have this very it's very powerful scene, very powerful moment. And we unfortunately we had to shoot it a couple times. I really wanted to just do it once, but we had to get the different angles that we was trying to get.
Right.
So first of all, kudos and I definitely appreciate you and Chantel for toughing that out and definitely doing it. And it was a moment for me because I even started crying. I had to walk out and I had to and we all had to take a minute. Like we
Yeah.
all needed a minute. First of all, it was late. First off, let's be clear on that. It was
Mm-hmm.
late. um, but two, like I said, we all had to take a moment because that's how powerful the scene was, but also that's how deep it was. It touched a lot of things. It was just, but I think that the environment though that was created allowed for people to have that catharsis moment
Yeah.
to get it all out, and I think that was vital.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak. I can only speak for me, obviously, but that was vital for me. I needed to get that out.
Right.
So, and you already touched on it, when you talked about it, but yeah, that very powerful scene. Another powerful scene, I think, too, was the scene with you and Damien when
Yeah.
you was talking to him about the love of God, and that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I loved how. And I'm talking as if I didn't write it, but it wasn't even about the writing. It's about the way y'all acted it out and the way like it. I felt like my mom was talking to me in such a loving manner. It's like, and again, this is how God is. It's like even when we stray,
Mm-hmm.
His love is sufficient, and
Yeah.
His love is always there to always bring us back, and it's not going anywhere. And
So if
I just love that scene between y'all.
I don't know if anybody knew at the time, I was really going through something at that time. So as we were in the room, sitting on the bed, and the way I was talking, that was all the energy I could muster up at the
Mm,
time. But
mm.
it fit. I was really going through something. My spirit man was going through something. I don't know if it was because I kept reflecting back on my father, thinking back on my father, but um, I said, "Am I putting enough energy into the scene?" But it fit. It fit. She was talking to him um, and encouraging him, and I felt like it fit the way it came off. And I said, I don't want to make anything less than what it should be. Um, but when I look back at it, and when we saw the film come out, I said it did fit. It did, and I believe if it hadn't, you would have told me, "Let's do this again, Miss
Mm.
Audrey." But and with Damien sitting there and the tears coming to his eyes, I was like, this is too real. This feels too real. Sometimes it gets like that. It gets too real.
Yeah.
Uh, but feed off is not even acting anymore. You're just reciting the words, but you're not acting anymore. You've become that person, and that's when you know you've gotten into who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I want, like I said again, just for me, again, I think it's different with actors versus the crew. I just know from the outside looking in, I saw y'all really became a fan. We shot that for a week for a week. We were together for a week, and y'all really, I saw you become the mom. I saw everybody become siblings. Like it was like y'all were really a family that week. Like I really saw that, and it really translated so well on screen.
Yeah,
Um, and also to another powerful scene that I enjoyed. Um, well, there are two reasons. Well, I know two reasons y'all enjoy it. I know one of the main reasons y'all enjoyed it was the food, but
right.
I enjoyed watching that scene. The scene where everybody sitting at the dinner table talk about what Easter means to them. That scene is so powerful to me. Everybody telling their individual stories. We shot each person twice,
Mhm.
and again, the emotions in that room, like it was not a dry eye in that room. It was everybody. It was just again. I just feel like this movie is so personal. Y'all gotta
Mhm.
watch this for Easter. You don't have to wait till Easter to
Yeah,
watch it. I feel like everybody needs to sit down and watch the movie. I don't care what your personal beliefs are. I feel like this movie is for everybody, and I feel like you can watch it and get something. And if you take away one thing, is just the importance of family and the importance of forgiveness.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I that's what I believe this movie. But real quick, I want you to talk about like around the table, like how you felt during that scene around, when everybody was talking around the table.
Um, Outside of the food thing, that always the food is always bomb.
And
Yeah,
shout out to I gotta say shout out to my auntie Michelle. My auntie Michelle, she always makes the food for when I need
yeah.
food for movies and stuff like that. I always go to her and she makes the food. So
And
shout out to her.
it's always good. I haven't had a bad meal yet. But like you said, after being with each other for a week, we had developed some closeness. These are some of the folks I had never seen before, and now we're really close. Um, I stay in touch. Well, me and Chantel, I stay in touch with her every now and then. I'm shooting her a little email, something, because she actually felt like she was one of my daughters. Um, she's and when she sees me in even other films, she's called me ma. She calls me ma, and so I just developed a relationship with the folk that I felt comfortable enough for me to even try to sing at the end when we got together doing some karaoke, and I don't do that. Yeah, but it was fun, and I'm super straining trying to sing some Shaka Khan. But I felt, I mean, they all encouraged me. They all encouraged me to still go on, and they saw that I was having problems with my walking, but everybody still would hold me up and different things like that. There was peace. I mean, I've been on stages and in groups where not everybody is um not everybody's as close. We're doing a job and that's it. But that I don't have one negative moment at all. Not one negative moment with any of the characters. That everybody, it was family, and even at the end, it was still family. Sitting around that table talking. It was just like real family. We had some things that were off scene that was funny, and I was like, "Oh Lord, had this been anybody else but family, I'd have been embarrassed." But we had fun. I won't say on here, but probably remember, and I had to be excused. But it was fun, and if it had been anything other than oriented situation, I'd have been humiliated, asked to go, be dismissed. But no, it was fun. I
Mm,
enjoyed it.
yeah. Definitely. Again, I wanna ask that everybody's watching this or listening, please go check out Redemption for Easter. It's on Peacock, on Tubi, on Amazon Prime, Roku channel, all that stuff. Please go check it out. It's a very good movie. It'll definitely pull at your heartstrings, and it'll make you again appreciate the value of family.
Well, I got a bit of information for you. One of my friends, he and his wife were on a cruise, and I can't remember which country they were in at this particular time. He said they were watching Redemption, but he wasn't watching. He said there was a family sitting down in the lounge area watching the redemption of Easter. He said he happened to walk by and he saw me screaming and
Mm.
he saw that lady and said the ladies looked at him like, right. He said, no, that's one of my acting friends. Her name was Audrey Suggs. And he said that evidently they had proved that it was who he said it was. He said they were watching Tubi, and he said, "Yeah, back in the States, I know her. I'm going to let her know that these films are being shown outside of the United States." I was like, "Okay." I didn't think about that. I didn't think about Tubi. Yeah, I didn't think about it's be someplace outside of the United States. I didn't even think like that. But yeah, yeah,
That's
people out
awesome.
states are watching.
That's awesome. That's very awesome. Next, the last film that we'll talk about before we get into Sweet Mahogany 3. And speaking of family, speaking of Chantel, because Chantel also plays your daughter in this movie as well. Kwanzaa Family Vacation.
Yeah,
It's the most recent film that you shot with me. And I have to say, Kwanzaa Family Vacation is actually like definitely one of my favorite movies that I have done. Um, and I thought it was very vital to do this movie because you don't see a lot of movies about Kwanzaa. Um,
no,
and people have this conception of Kwanzaa being a religious thing, and I was like, and even I had to be educated about Kwanzaa. I was like, when I learned what Kwanzaa was and the importance of it, I was like, oh yeah, definitely. I think people should learn more about this, and I wanted to put it in a way that people can digest it, and it's not like it's coming at them, like we're beating them over the head with a Bible or anything. So I wanted people to take the information and we shoot it in a it was a kind of comedic way, but again, another movie about the importance of family. I think, like I said, to me, family is the nucleus of life,
yeah,
um, for sure. So talk about your character because your character was a hot mess, and your character was a hot mess. But again, we get to really see in the hot messness of it all that you are funny. Like the
yeah.
looks you were giving, like the shade, it was like hilarious. You played Candace Morgan. Talk about when you first got the script for this, because again, this is different for you as far as with me playing this particular role. How was it for you when you got the script and you was like, okay, I'm about to be Candace?
Felt good. I get to be the villain. I'm always the motherly type or the grandmotherly type or um, maybe a little comedic, but I get to play the villain, the bad guy, the irritating mama, putting all of her, no woman would be good enough except the one he had before. And that's probably because she's not his girlfriend now, or whatever. I
Hmm.
just went with that character. I said, oh, I get to be the bee, to be the bee. And I've never been, have I? Well, on stage, yeah, but never in the film. I get to be the bee, and it was fun. It felt fun to be something that I'm not. I'm completely opposite of that character. People, I'm complete.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I did have fun, and the facial expressions. I didn't even realize that I was making them like that until somebody brought them back to me, and then when I saw the trailer, I was like, "What? You do say a lot with your face, even when you're not trying to."
Hmm.
Yeah, that was fun. I really did. And that cast of characters were great too. Every last one of them, they kept me cracking up. It was easy to assimilate into the role. It was
Yeah.
really,
Yeah. Because I mean, you like I said, you worked with Chantel, you worked with Shataria. She was your daughter in Redemption for Easter, and talk about that too, because like again, she was your daughter in Redemption for Easter, and now she's this girl you don't like. That's with
right.
your son. So
Mm-hmm.
like, how is that like? I mean, you're an actor. Of course, you play different characters, you play different things, and sometimes a lot of times you work with the same people, playing different roles in different scenarios. But like, how was that for you? Like again, you at first you're like, oh, this is my daughter from one movie, and now this is my nemesis in this other movie. How was that? How was that for
Oh,
you?
to play to act like I don't like her. Um, made it easier for me because just being funny, Shantaria is really, really a good actress at whatever it is she does, and she didn't make me feel like, oh, don't do too much, don't do too much. I mean, she played with whatever I did,
Yeah.
um, and she's just a fun person to act at. Every thing that I've been in with her has been the exact same way. Um, you're going to get professionalism, and she's going to play the character, and I just felt good. I didn't feel anything negative about the fact that okay, I did mention that. I said, oh, now you my daughter. You were my daughter before. Now you're one of my arch nemesis.
Ah,
I had fun with it. I had fun with her. She's a really good actress, and you can fall into what you need to fall into really pretty easy with her.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I like I said, I loved you and Carlos together. Y'all chemistry as husband and wife. I thought that was great. The scene when he got mad at you. I'm not gonna spoil it for what you did. You did the mama does something in the movie, y'all. That and she's so conniving, child. Just so
Yeah.
conniving.
Oh,
And
that was
the husband was over it. Dr. Hakeem is over it, and he was the scene between y'all when the mama trying to have a little good time with her husband. The husband like, nope,
nope.
nope. And that scene was ad lib, by the way.
It was fun.
Carlos is a comedian, so you gotta let him do his thing. And that scene was funny. I thought that scene was hilarious. Um, and again, this is another great movie. I think again, it's one of my favorite movies that I've done. Um, and I just really enjoyed the dynamics of that. I'm going to ask you a question as Audrey, but I want you. This is a Candace question. Do you think Candace has? This is another about kids. Do you think Candace has a favorite child?
Um,
Because
her
Candace got 4 kids. Got Nile,
mhm.
uh,
her
Kenya, Egypt, and James.
Well, I wouldn't say that she has a favorite. I mean, I didn't. I thought at first I would say the son that had the girlfriend.
Uh,
The I thought maybe, but no, it was just his time with a person that she didn't want him with. It could have been the other two, the two daughters or the other son, but most of the attention was focused on the older son because he was with somebody she didn't want him to be with.
mm,
If it had been one of the other girls, well, because even when the girl came, I ain't gonna go into all of it, but when the girl came in and began to see some things that Mama hadn't even picked up, you know, that just sort of ticked Mama off a little bit more.
mm,
Certain things and characteristics and qualities about the kids that Mama hadn't picked up,
mm,
and probably again Mama being Mama, just following the Mama's role. This is how it's been, and this is how it's gonna be. I expect that y'all to do what I say do, the way I do. Because even when they were, they didn't want to do certain things. They were like, "Oh, we're just gonna do this again. We got to go clean out the garage. We got to do this. Blah blah blah. Every year we got to do this." It was just all routine. This is just what we do. And the new girlfriend coming in, she brought in something new that
mm,
she brought up attention. Even it might have been out of ignorance because she didn't understand what Kwanzaa was, but it was done all in love and trying to show that I'm a family person. I can fit here. I love you all. I can fit in, but Mama wasn't trying to hear it.
mm,
Hear it. She didn't want to hear none of that. None of that girl had to say. She didn't want to deal with it.
mm.
Going away from what she normally has going on in her life for the
Yeah,
family. But
yeah.
Daddy, all of that, he got tired of all of that.
Daddy was over it. Daddy said, "Oh." He
That was
said normally no, he said normally I ride with you, but I can't get on this. I can't get on this ride with you. Like this ain't it.
a movie. Anybody, and it's about that time now. You got your little family to get together. That's a very clean movie, family oriented. Um, get your laugh in, get your cry in. It's a really good film. My mom watches it, and she doesn't watch much of anything unless it's some cowboys and some gospel.
Okay.
She watches.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would, like I said, definitely again, I would definitely ask that you guys check out a Kwanzaa Family Vacation. It's on Tubi and the Roku channel. I'm supposed to be hearing about another platform it's supposed to be going on, but we'll have to still wait on that and see. That's the thing with this stuff, man. It's just a waiting game, and it's just like it's like wait and work
I
or
feel
work
you.
or work and wait, I should say.
Work, but
Right.
pays off. It does pay off.
Yeah.
You got stuff going on.
Yeah. Thank you. So real quick, Sweet Mahogany 3, without giving anything away, we finally wrapping things up, finally. I know it's been a while, it's been some years. Sweet Mahogany, uh the original series came out in 2018. The first when it turned into a movie was 2020, and then the second one came out in 2021. So here we are, it's coming out in 2025, 4 years later, and
Mhm.
y'all are finally getting y'all third installment that y'all have been stalking me for.
Yes,
And not just the audience, the actors too.
yes,
um,
yes.
but yeah, talk. I want you to talk without giving anything away. I want you to talk about because again, I obviously I felt like when we were shooting the third one, obviously we shot the first two was shot as a series, and that was the intention. This third one obviously was shot as a film. We already knew this was going to be a film versus a series, so it was shot with that intention of being a film. Talk about your experience, the difference, and again, it's been years since you stepped back into this character. How was it for you? How was it for you stepping back to this character years later? Because again, it was years before since you shot the second one.
Well, it felt good. It felt really great. Getting back with the characters, introduced to new characters. Um, Mama got a new little something, a little something different, brought to the table. Just bringing out what I had already figured was going on with her in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and so I will say you will not expect what's happening. You will not expect any of what's happening. Anybody that watches three, those of you who waited for three, it was worth the wait. Everything, all the screws are tightened up. All the loose ends have been taken care of, and yeah, it's worth the wait. You will see. I got folks who've been on this thing ever since it was a web series, and they still waiting. They still waiting. They're not
Mm.
letting go. They're not letting go at all. And I was like, well, it is worth the wait, and I won't tell them anything. And the funny thing is, they're glad that I'm not because
Yeah.
they want to be surprised as well.
I'm gonna say this again. I'm just three was is wrapped up so well. Don't ask me for a fourth one. That's all I'm saying. Like we're it's done. It's a wrap. That's
Well,
how wrapped up the third one is. It's tied up in a bow with two knots.
it is, and it's nothing expected. I mean, I'm like, whoa, this. All right, mama coming up now. Yeah, and the character,
um.
to be with my I call them new family, because I'm on Facebook with them. We don't.
Mhm.
I found out some of us live right here in the same little area. I was like, what? Bird is at one of my doctor's offices. She's one of the people at my doctor's. I was like, don't I know you? And then we found out, yeah, but yes, we're both VPN. Uh, Michael McHale, he's only what in Charlotte, not too far from me. Um, and there's some others I just can't think of. But we're Carlos, he's in Greensboro down the street from me. So um, to be all that close, it's a whole lot of other things. If you say let's get together and do whatever, I'm ready, and I'm sure they're ready to get on the road and let's go.
Yeah.
I made a
Absolutely.
lot that I didn't have beforehand. I call them family notes, and I'm really excited about them.
Good. That's good. I love that. I love that for sure. Um. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. is there a particular? Because again, you are truly. When I say Miss Audrey is a Victory Productions fan, she truly is. Do you have a favorite show that you're not in?
Oh, that I'm not in. Oh, it's the Lion's Den. I told you I sat there and I watched that, and I watched 84 episodes over a period of 2.5 days. Once I
Ooh. And,
80
and and y'all hold on real quick before she continues. Seasons 1 through 3 are like long. Like they had like I'm talking about the episodes are like 30, 45 minutes. So
uh,
that's astounding that you did that in the amount of days.
four. I will never forget. I sat there and watched 84. Now there was some more after that, but I sat there and I watched 34. I mean 84 episodes in 2.5 days. And my
Wow.
like, Mama, is everything all right? I said, no. At nighttime, it was late before I go to bed because I wanted, you get hyped up on it, and then I always like your openers for any of the scenes, any of the episodes, in every one of your movies. Shows. You always had these nice um, uh, openings, where the credits roll in the beginning. I always like that, so I didn't even forward through that. I just sit there and watch it. And I got some other folks turned on to it too. They may not have watched this all at one time like I did, but I wanted to stay caught up because I didn't want to get behind. Once I had gotten started, I was like, no, I can't. I can't just pick up where they are now because same thing I did with Lovers Lane. I couldn't, just go without seeing what's going on. I had to
hmm
do the whole. That's what I did, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Awesome
Thank
job.
you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now, next question, same question. Now, do you have a favorite film
Favorite film that I'm not in?
that you're not in?
Okay, the one where y'all all went, where what's her name, Janika Ivy.
Uh-huh.
It, I do love Brotherhood the movie, and I love Sisterhood the movie. But I love the movie for the Christmas where
A
she's
Very
with.
Merry New Year?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't want to mess up the name. That I love that. That had me in tears, uh, laughing and crying. Uh,
hmm
I mean, it is a awesome film. Awesome film. And I'll,
Thank
of course, watching it again. It's the season. I'm going to be watching it again, and always call folk together and let's do this. So yeah, Merry New Year. It's awesome. That's fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely make sure y'all check out A Very Merry New Year. It was on the streaming services, Peacock, Tubi, Amazon Prime,
Hmm.
the Roku channel, all that stuff. And I made this pitch. I forgot what was I? Oh, it was shooting Take Five, and I was talking about holiday movies. I said, yeah, definitely make sure y'all check out the holiday films. Again, check out A Very Merry New Year, Reindeer Games, For the Love of
Yeah,
Christmas 1 and 2, and make sure you check out A Kwanzaa Family Vacation, starring the lovely Audrey Suggs. So thank you so much, Miss Audrey. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk and go down memory lane with me. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you for being the light that you are. I definitely appreciate you. I'm so glad we met, and I'm so glad that we are definitely connected. And again, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you all too. Thank you so much. You've opened up a whole lot more doors than you actually know that you did, and I appreciate you. I remember the very first time that I did audition. It was for the Bond family, playing the mother Bond, and
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. For bondage, yeah.
he told me that you didn't you were going another way with the character, but I have a character that I want you to do, and it was for Sweet Mahogany at that time, and you hadn't even we hadn't had the script or anything like that because you were doing the bondage thing, and at first I said, well, okay, yeah, there's a reason because somebody had already told me if you don't get it, don't be upset. I said, I'm not. Well, my feelings were hurt a little bit, but then I said, oh, okay, yeah. He said, I got something for you. So that means he saw something in me and it's gone on from there. And it has picked up. It has picked up. I really, really appreciate you. There's nothing I can think of that you could ask me to do that I wouldn't try to get it done.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that, and Appreciate your words. And again, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate all of you for watching. We definitely appreciate you. And until the next time, this has been VPN Chat. I'm Carlton, and we'll see y'all on the next go round. Peace.